Screen Junkies. Currently, the South by Southwest Film Festival is happening, and we have reporting from Texas our own beloved Jackie Cooley. So let's run down this pretty quickly because a lot happened over the weekend at South by, and I want to get your take on it. First of all, Alien Covenant. They showed some extended footage from Alien Covenant. I want to hear from you what they showed, how it looked. You were telling me earlier that this looked like it was going to be the goriest Alien movie to date, yes?
Yeah. The only thing I can really say is they didn't show everything, but they showed 20 minutes, and that 20 minutes was terrifying. And that was their goal.
Did you get more? Do you mean you can't say anything because they put you on an embargo from it, or you don't want to spoil everybody?
No. I can't tell the plot.
Okay.
So it was 3 shots that were kind of divided up, and I really couldn't really say what the plot is going to be. Characters play different characters throughout the whole thing. So it's very difficult.
Well, okay, I think I probably know, we already know that Michael Fassbender will be playing 2 characters. He'll be playing David, who was the android that he played in Prometheus, and then the updated version of that android in Alien Covenant. So you weren't able to glean much more from the plot, yes, but tell us about it tonally. Does this feel like a return to form for Ridley Scott?
Yeah, it really does. We got to sit down with him and chat about it. And he said his whole goal was to scare the audience. So you know how that there's that argument if Aliens is a sci-fi film or a horror film, and this one really establishes itself as a horror film.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that traditionally speaking, most of us think of Alien as a horror sci-fi film and then Aliens as the action sci-fi film, James Cameron's follow-up. Does it feel to you, did you see Prometheus, and how do you feel like this one fits with Prometheus? Because this is the bridge between Prometheus and Alien. Does it feel like that? Does it feel like some hybrid of those two things?
I would say that there's the camp aspect that we had in Prometheus and them exploring and trying to figure things out. But I would say it's much more similar to the first Alien as far as the thrill, suspense, jump scares, terrifying aspect.
So if people were a fan of the first 2 Alien films, but not so much Prometheus, should they be excited for this movie?
Definitely.
It
definitely harkens back.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was saying it definitely harkens back. And there's a lot of more Easter eggs for those first 2 than it is for Prometheus.
Okay. What was the most disgusting thing that you saw, if it's not a spoiler?
Okay, it's not a spoiler. But you know the like chest breaking thing with John Hurt?
Yes, the chest burster.
Well, they do that, twice over. So front to back.
Yeah,
it was gross.
The backburster, we saw a little bit about.
Yeah.
Did Ridley Scott say anything else of note, or was that sort of the main takeaway?
I mean, so Michael Fassbender introduced the film, and he definitely sort of alluded to the fact that they wanted to clear up some of the Prometheus answers. Like, sorry, I got wind in my mouth. But yeah, they want to answer some questions that people had from that film.
All right.
And it's going to clear a little bit of that up.
Well, I have questions, and I am looking forward to getting some answers. I'm actually really looking forward to this one. So let's talk about, next up is The Disaster Artist. Now, this is based on a book. This was directed, produced, and starring James Franco, and it is about the making of the now cult classic film, The Room, which is amazingly wonderfully bad. And it is this disastrous movie, B-movie, that from Tommy Wiseau, that's now a cult favorite. People love to watch this movie in groups. Talk to me, what you said to me earlier was that you would not be surprised if we would be looking at a Golden Globe nomination for James Franco for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical. How was the movie overall?
So the movie overall was great. And I was not a fan going in. I was like, I've not really liked any James Franco movies where he directed. Like, I like it when he stars, but not so much as director. But he really brought it with this one. And he acted Tommy Wiseau to a T. unbelievably in character.
And then I had read somewhere that his brother said that he was in character the entire time that he was directing the movie too. So, which kind of led me to believe, well, if you were really in character, wouldn't you do a bad job of directing? So how was it a well-directed film? This is already...
Actually, yeah. I sat next to the editor during the screening, and she talked about how precise they were and how they wanted to get everything right. Because Seth, who produced it, Seth Rogen, and James, and everyone involved in the film, because they had all of these celebrity cameo, they all love the room. And that's why they wanted to sign up for it.
They love it as like a Hollywood story, right?
Yeah, of like this guy putting his love out there and saying, you know what, he's going to be earnest. I'm going to make this happen. And damn anybody that doesn't agree. And it's a great story for that.
So let's talk about Baby Driver. Yes. This one we're very much anticipating around here. This is the latest from Edgar Wright. What do you think?
Honestly, Baby Driver is my favorite film of the festival. Like Ansel Elgort did an amazing job. Jamie Foxx is terrifying. John Hamm just kills it. And the soundtrack to it, like, this is the musical that people are going to be talking about. It's an action musical.
Action musical. How is the music?
Oh my God, amazing. And so eclectic. Egyptian reggae to like new EDM to like 50s soul and blues. Because he plays a driver, Baby, who like wants the perfect soundtrack to do the getaway car. It's amazing like that way.
Okay, so I had heard that this feels very different though from most of his other films, that it's far more action heavy. Is that true?
It's far more action heavy. He works with different like actors, different than he's worked from before. And you can tell. They said in the screening how whenever they would have Kevin Spacey and Jamie Foxx in the same picture, they'd be like, double Oscar shot, double Oscar shot. And so it was really great to see those two actors really bring it. And they did. Awesome.
Here's another one that I've been really, really curious about is Atomic Blonde. Now, we saw a trailer from that come out late last week. It is the latest from David Leitch, who directed John Wick. He is directing the upcoming Deadpool 2. This stars Charlize Theron. It's a 1980s action thriller. I'm really looking forward to this movie. Have I gotten my hopes up too far?
Well, I wouldn't say your hopes up are too far, because people are saying it's the female John Wick. And that's true. It's a very good film. But like the two of them did John Wick, Chad and David, I think his name is. Pardon me if I got that wrong. But they did John Wick together, and he's doing this one by himself. And it kind of shows that he's a bit of a first-time director. So there was about 30 minutes that could have hit the cutting room floor and made it a better film. But Charlize kicks ass, and the action in it is exactly what you want. So for the action and the acting alone, I would say it's worth a trip to go see it. Yeah.
Okay. Worth the price of the ticket?
Yeah.
Does it make you more or less excited for Deadpool 2?
More excited, because the writing on that is going to be tighter. And that's also a part of it. Because Reese, those guys know how to bring it. And I think if he had a better script, he would have done better with the film.
All right. So the last thing, I was listening on the news this morning, and they were talking about the documentary about Michael Brown's Stranger Fruit. And the idea was that this documentary, which has never before seen footage, is my understanding that this may kind of change how we think of that case. Were you able to see it?
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. And you're right. It changes the game on what people thought of that narrative. So at the time, everyone was saying, Michael Brown committed this strong arm robbery the morning that he was shot, which is the reason why Darren Wilson, pulled him over. Well, come to look at it, when we see this footage, actually what happened is that he sold weed to one of the convenience store people, and then he was supposed to get those cigarillos as payment. He left the cigarillos there, and you can see the camera footage where they did the deal, they took the weed, and then he left them there. Cut to the shots that they showed us at that time, which is him pulling those cigarillos back. So he's basically trying to get his property back. And the cops knew about it.
The cops
They
knew
had
that
the footage. He got it. Yeah.
Before he was. So in case anybody doesn't know, this was a very, very famous case. In 2014, police officer Darren Wilson shot St. Louis teenager Michael Brown to death. And one of the pieces of evidence that was used in the case against Darren Wilson was this shot, like we're talking about, of it looked like, and they painted it to be Michael Brown stealing these cigarillos from a convenience store. But you're saying that that's not, now we see that that's not what happened.
Yeah. And you have to make a little bit of a deduction because we can't hear the audio, but he was in there. He gives the guy something. The guy smells it, puts it in his pocket, and hands him 2 boxes of cigarillos. And then Michael Brown talks to his friend and he decides, you know what, I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to basically come back. And the only footage they showed was him coming back, and he was interacting with a different gentleman, I would presume maybe the worker's father. And that guy didn't know anything about it. And so that's what caused that whole altercation. But the police knew, and that's the thing that is really awful. Because they put that tape out to discredit him and make him look the aggressor when they had a very easy deduction to say what exactly happened.
Okay.
And it's crazy.
You know, this is a conversation we'll get into later, but certainly there's a big discussion to be had around how documentaries currently are impacting ongoing court cases. Or, well, this is not an ongoing case, but are impacting sort of high profile criminal cases. And this is certainly, it already sounds like having an impact. Was it a good documentary in addition to that?
I don't know much about Jason Pollock, but I think he's an earlier director. And
yeah, he's had he's only had 2 previous films.
Yeah. But you can tell he was passionate about it, and you can tell that he did his research, and it's a very moving story because they got a lot of his family in it. Mm-hmm. And so you really feel that people aspect of it. And it's well done.
All right.
Not perfect, but well done.
Thank you so much for being here with us today and reporting from South by. We'll talk to you again, I think, next week to get the full wrap up of the festival, the highs and lows of the festival. Lots to look forward to. Thank you guys for being with us. Let us know what you're most excited about from the South by Film Festival so far. Are you looking forward to Aliens, Baby Driver? What's your flavor of coffee? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you. Be nice to one another. And click right here for more awesome Screen Junkies news.